Am I the asshole for not cooking something my son's girlfriend could eat? Hi, I am new to Reddit and created this account just to be able to get outside opinions, so I hope I do this correctly. I am 40F and have a son 17M. He has just gotten his first girlfriend and both me and his dad were very thrilled by this. We asked him if she would like to come over for dinner so that we could meet her and get to know her. He asked her, told us that she would love to. This was about 2 weeks ago and we set up a date. The dinner was Thursday night, so just yesterday. I cook what I always cook when we have guests over if it is not a specific type of dinner. I just throw together a smaller Caesar salad as an appetizer and then serve a steak with potatoes that I have on the pan with butter, garlic and some bacon. Since I was cooking, I just greeted her while my son, her and my husband was sat in the living room. When dinner was ready, she did not eat anything. My son threw me nasty looks but did not say anything. I asked her if she wanted something else but she just kind of awkwardly said that it was fine. When I bring out the main dish, she did not take anything this time either. I felt so bad that I did not make anything that she liked. I told her that I would love to throw together something for her, but she turned my offer down and told me that it was just nice company and the food was not the main part, but she was sure it was good. It went great. She left and immediately after my son blew up on me. She asked me why I would cook everything with animal products when I knew she was a strict vegan. I felt kind of bad and thought that I had just forgotten about it. I asked him when he told me that and said I was sorry. He told me he said that when we talked about inviting her for dinner, my husband just chimes in with, "No son, you did not." My son is still insisting that he told me and that he made sure several times that I was still on track with that, but I have zero recollection of that. I don't know if I am just extremely forgetful and he is right. He is so insistent that he told me and I feel like maybe he did. I mean, it is his girlfriend and he know I always cook with animal products, so why wouldn't he? So am I the asshole for not cooking anything she could eat? Maybe I should have asked him what she liked to eat and asked if there was something she couldn't. Not the asshole, but if you want her to feel welcome, invite her for a homemade vegan dinner this weekend. Not the asshole speaking from experience of being 17 once. Haha, there is a very high likelihood that your son forgot to mention this very crucial fact. But then genuinely thinks he did. Because well, it's a very crucial piece of information. X200B, hopefully he will learn, as it sounds more of his fault in this. Not the asshole. It's your son's GF, he should have reminded you and helped you cook for her. Maybe I'm old-fashioned. Not the asshole, I have a hard time believing that you would totally miss the whole vegan thing. It's a really hard menu to put together, so you would have to think about it very carefully. No milk, no cheese, no honey, etc. Not the asshole, your son should have double-checked with you before he came over or the morning. Your husband even said your son never told you. You are not at fault. How can anyone judge this? The whole thing hinges on whether you actually did forget or whether your son is lying to you. No one here has access to the truth. The only hint is that your husband says your son didn't tell you during the particular conversation your son brings up that your husband apparently was present at. However, I have no idea if your son told you at any other time. It's weird he'd give you looks during dinner if he lied after the fact though. Not the asshole. It's not like you intentionally cooked a meat-based meal knowing she's a vegan. If your husband says he didn't tell you, and you don't recall, more than likely or so thought he told you and he's the one forgetting that he didn't. You also offered to make her something when you realized something was off. Your son really should have followed up or asked what was on the menu prior. Either way, it's not a big deal and at least you know for next time. Nah. It was miscommunication, somebody forgot, didn't hear. Next time she comes, make her nice vegan fare and apologize for last time. She was very well mannered about it, which is certainly a point in her favor. Not the asshole, and as a vegan it happens all the time. Your son's GF can guess exactly what happened. Your son definitely, absolutely, without a doubt, forgot to tell you, so don't worry. TBH, if even your husband says he didn't say anything, he probably did not say anything. I'd look through messages to see if he said anything there. But not the asshole, you did not know. And you even offered to make something else. Even under the circumstances where he said it and you forgot, you did try. When vegans get invited out places, they get used to either not eating or bringing their own meals. Now, we have a rule in our house for the I told you, I imagined, I told you, you forgot stitch up. Instead of running ourselves in circles, we accept that somewhere things got lost and we work to find a solution for next time. Maybe he told you on a different context and it slipped your mind, maybe he didn't tell you at all. Ask him to drop his defenses and ask if he wants to be right or to solve the problem, and the latter is what you're interested in. Ask him if you can have a redo and ask him to help you with the menu. Not the asshole. More than likely, he forgot to tell you, and he was embarrassed. By your account, the girlfriend handled things quite well, and you should be proud that your son is with a kind partner. Like someone else suggested, I would reach out to her, apologize for the miscommunication, and invite her back over for a new vegan meal. Leaning towards NaH, but maybe a bit tougher, not asking actively if the girlfriend has any dietary restrictions. When my 6-year-old has a friend over for dinner, or when I invite someone new that I haven't cooked for yet, I always ask if there are any dietary restrictions, if there is something they strongly dislike or won't eat, so that I'm sure that the guest feels welcome. Cooking steak with bacon as a default? Well, there are a lot of reasons that could be difficult, with quite different dietary restrictions. Not the asshole, but I don't understand why it's not your standard practice to ask if your guest has dietary restrictions for whatever reason. I highly doubt a 17-year-old actually told you and that you and your husband forgot. You did nothing wrong. It was just an unfortunate situation born from miscommunication or lack of. You're already a better mom than most for being an open and gracious host. Not the asshole, but your son definitely is. Just sounds ungrateful and entitled. NaH, it doesn't matter if it was you or your son who forgot. You were all accidentally inconsiderate. You should just try this again, but be careful, many dishes have secret animal products you wouldn't think of, like the anchovies in Caesar salad dressing. If it helps, any 17-year-old who can sit through an entire dinner without eating anything and still say it was just really great to meet everyone, is probably a very kind and forgiving young woman. You don't remember him saying anything. Your husband sounds certain he didn't say anything. I'm betting he's embarrassed that he didn't say anything and is lashing out at you for it. What's more likely? He said it, and neither you nor your husband remembers, despite having checked with you several times, or you and your husband both remember correctly that you were not told. Not the asshole, my guess is that your son did not tell you she was vegan. This is further confirmed by his insisting that he confirmed with you multiple times. He wouldn't have mentioned it while you were cooking the meat right in front of him. And let's not forget your husband confirming. Teenagers do stupid things, and communication is hard for everyone. It's important not to get too caught up in that. If you're up to it, invite her back for dinner, and cook vegan. That should put things right. Not the asshole, but this is why I always ask people what their allergens, dietary restrictions are before I cook for them. Yes, your son should have told you, but you also should have asked a bit more directly. Your son should have helped you cook and found a recipe he could help make her. Not the asshole, this sounds like an honest mistake. Maybe she is just shy, but I find it strange that she wouldn't mention this and accept when you asked if she wanted something else to eat. I'd invite her over for dinner again soon, apologize for the misunderstanding, and cook a meal that has options for her. I mean, I guess it depends if he really told you or not. Because Hubs confirmed he didn't, I would say not the asshole. Not the asshole. I imagine that he forgot to tell you she was vegan and is now trying to backtrack. There is no way you and your husband would forget such an important detail, especially since he is claiming he clarified it multiple times. Not the asshole, you would have remembered if he said vegan and your husband also backed you up. That isn't something that slips your mind if you have to cook a meal in an entirely different way to accommodate someone. Your son is 17 and it is just as likely it slipped his mind. Good luck with this. This seems to just be a case of simple miscommunication. As already stated, invite her over again and fix a meal she can eat. Let both her and your son know there was no ill will, again just a communication error. Hopefully you all can get a little chuckle out of it and enjoy a nice meal together. Also have to say, kudos to the young lady to not make a fuss and say the comment she did about how it's nice to spend the time together. Sounds like she already has a good head on her shoulders. He's a teenager, so he probably forgot himself and trying to blame you. Just invite her over again and cook a nice vegan meal. Nah. Not the asshole. But that said, any dietary sensitivities or preferences is always a good question to ask to prevent mishaps. Not the asshole. There was miscommunication and you offered to make her something else. Not the asshole, this is just a miscommunication. Not the asshole. It sounds like your son meant to tell you but forgot about it. Then you offered to cook her something she would eat and she declined. That isn't your fault. Not the asshole, always good to ask about food when inviting someone new over for dinner, but this wasn't your fault. Your son probably dropped the ball entirely, doesn't want to admit it to his new GF, so he's blaming you. Not the asshole, but your son sure is. He could have and should have been working with you on a menu plan that worked. Not the asshole, but there is something strange here. He insists that he told you not just once but multiple times, that he made sure several times that I was still on track with that, but you don't remember it at all. That's more than a simple miscommunication. Not to be too alarmist, but you might want to consider mentioning possible memory loss at your next physical and getting checked out for early onset Alzheimer's. Hopefully there's a more benign reason, but better safe than sorry. If you don't remember and your husband doesn't, then it stands to reason your son is mistaken thinking he told you, not the asshole. Not the asshole. You did him a favor. Dealing with pain in the ass vegans isn't worth all the trouble. Let them eat cake, if they bring their own. Not the asshole, vegan dishes can be so yummy. Someone else suggested inviting her over again, and I second that suggestion. Look up protein-packed vegan dishes. I had this beet soup at a vegan restaurant. It had quinoa in it as well as a nice tart vinaigrette that finished it. So good vegan food can pack as much protein as a steak and still be flavorful. Maybe also ask her if she has suggestions for you to try, too. Good luck, and enjoy the exploration. I mean, clearly not the asshole. At worst you are forgetful, but since your husband agrees with you, this is probably on your son. However, you should talk to his girlfriend and make it clear that there was a miscommunication and you did not know she was vegan. Otherwise she may think that you did this on purpose. Not the asshole, I can see you forgetting once, but multiple times, and your husband too. Unless there's a carbon monoxide leak in your home affecting everyone's memory, then your son messed up. At 17 it's easier to blame his parents than to admit to his girlfriend that he totally spaced on telling you something so important to her. You've apologized to your son for the mix-up, that wasn't even your beating yourself up about it. If your son was so concerned, he should have gone over the menu with you, helped you shop, picked out recipes, etc. Arrange a do-over dinner, start fresh. NaH, which is refreshing on this sub. Cooking a vegan meal soon for her would be the best way to remedy the situation. You seem like a great mom. It gets off topic, but your husband sounds like a good guy. I think maybe your son is the forgetful one. Regardless of who is right between you and your son, the girlfriend sounds